Welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is Wednesday, March 29th, 2023, and they're saying last night, comedian Paul O'Grady of the UK, who's known for playing a drag queen, died unexpectedly at age 67. And again, he played a drag queen. If you're new here, the channel is GematriaEffectNews. Gematria is the Kabbalistic practice of coding numbers into words. And through understanding this knowledge, we accurately forecasted why the queen would die at 96 and the significance of the day she died. And we talked at the time about why she died 201 days after her COVID diagnosis, a very special number, kind of like how she knighted Captain Tom and then he died 201 days later. Well, anyhow, Paul O'Grady, the drag queen, has now died 201 days after the queen's death. And it's perfectly synced with the Queen, and it's perfectly synced with King Charles. And in regards to the pattern with King Charles, we were just covering the death of Nicola Bulley and how she died 74 days after Charles' 74th birthday. We're going to get to where that factors in with this man dying on a 74 date numerology. And recall, on Charles' 74th birthday, two international stories were the deaths of the Virginia Cavaliers football players. Cavaliers are those who fought for King Charles. And also that day, the news broke of the killings on King Road in Moscow, Idaho, where Moscow is spelled like Moscow, and King Charles is the first monarch of Russian ancestry. We're going to bring all this together because it's the same parallel through all of these stories. Let's not forget the Moscow killer supposedly lived in apartment 201. But anyhow, Paul O'Grady, one of Britain's most popular TV personalities, has died aged 67. Very fateful number. If you're new here, you'll learn all about it if you just stick around for a week, because it'll happen so many more times it'll blow your mind, because it happens all the time. The star, also known for his drag queen alter ego, Lily Savage, died unexpectedly on Tuesday evening, according to his husband, Andre Portacio. The PA Media News Agency reported. In the statement shared with PA, Portacio said, "It is with great sadness that I inform you that Paul has passed away unexpectedly but peacefully yesterday evening." Maybe a nice little dose of poison. But notice, the Queen died September 8th on the Virgin Mary's birthday. Of course, part of her birth name was Mary. They had to find a new queen for the show on Netflix, and her name's Mary, and all the other Marys we covered at the time in that. If you're new here, 201 is the number of the Jesuit order who serve the Catholic Church, who worship the Virgin Mary. And Gematria is the simple practice of coding numbers into words. It's based on the alphabetic order forwards and backwards. And as you can see, the Jesuit order equals 177 when you run the alphabetic order forwards. It equals 201 when you run it in reverse. Go back and revisit the death of Captain Tom, who was knighted by the Queen on July 17th, 17/7, and then died 201 days later. Go back and look into Event 201, put on by the Jesuit Klaus Schwab, whose name equals 177. Look into Catherine the Great, the leader of Russia, who preserved the Jesuit order by saving it with 201 Jesuit priests after her husband was poisoned on July 17th, 17/7, and so on. A lot of these patterns of the same numbers coming together. But anyhow, the drag queen is dead 201 days after the queen. And notice his birthday is June 14th, like how the U.S. flag's birthday is June 14th. That day counted through the last day of the year. Those are the last 201 days of the year. So that was Paul O'Grady's birthday. And again, Gematria is based on the alphabetic order forwards and backwards. It's also forwards and backwards with numerology. So there's 4 base ciphers. The Jesuit order equals 201 and 84. We're in the time of the first Jesuit Pope, whose birth name, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, equals 201. He's the first to live in Suite 201. His birth numerology is 84. Similar to the founder of the Jesuits, Ignatius of Loyola, whose name equals 201, who ended up dying in history and being replaced by Diego Lainez 84 days from Ignatius of Loyola's birthday. But these are very important numbers to the Jesuit order from the beginning up to the present. Notice Paul James O'Grady, his full name, also 84. George Orwell in 1984, a whole nother can of worms. His name in the 4-base ciphers, Paul O'Grady, perfect overlap with Illuminati, 120, 48, 150. That's important because the official name of the Illuminati is the Order of Illuminati, which equals 201. Again, Adam Weishaupt, the founder of the Illuminati, was a Jesuit who ended up dying 201 days after the anniversary of its establishment. But notice how Illuminati and Queen Elizabeth, they both have the 150 and 69. They say the sun, which illuminates the earth, is 150 million kilometers away on average. Heliocentrism happens to equal 150, 69, 201. The model that says the sun's at the center of it all, which was established in the 16th century, along with the Gregorian calendar named after the Catholic Pope, and the time English was standardized as a 26-letter alphabet. All of those things happening in the 16th century. All of history has unfolded this way ever since. And notice further, from Paul O'Grady's birthday, June 14th, to his death at 67, was exactly 41 weeks later. King has the gematria 41 forwards, 67 in reverse. So his death is synced with the day the Queen died and the day King Charles became the king. Let's not forget King Charles gave his first speech the next day on 9/9, and just shortly earlier, his father had died at age 99 on the 99th day of the year, and if you forget, the Queen's birth name equaled 99 in Gematria. But anyhow, the drag queen dies exactly 41 weeks after their own 67th birthday. King 41 forward, 67 in reverse. We see the same things going on over here with King James, the one in the NBA. He comes into Los Angeles, LA's the 41 city, and then 2 UCLA basketball players drop dead in 67 rituals. Then Kobe Bryant dies at age 41 on the Pope's 41st day of his age while traveling from Catholic Mass. And then LeBron wins the NBA Finals exactly 41 weeks after his own birthday on Father-Daughter Day, typically at a time when the NBA season isn't going on, but it was going on because of the COVID pandemic. Right after the Event 201 simulation. Again, that's why the power of this knowledge is just magnificent. It shows you what's really going on and just how ritualistic it all is, including the pandemic that made all the sports rituals line up perfectly for every season, including the Chadwick Boseman death that got moved to the makeshift Jackie Robinson Day for the COVID season. And then he dies at 42, but then they have to change his age of death to 43, so it's not so obvious since he played in the movie The Number 42 about Jackie Robinson. But anyway, if you're new here, human sacrifice and blood sacrifice equals 67 when you run the alphabetic order forwards. They equal 86 when you run the alphabetic order in reverse. And notice, from his birthday to the Queen's death was 86 days later. She died September 8th. Talking about the same numbers all the time. The day before his death was the 86th day of the year. Big mass shooting on the 86th Meridian in Nashville. Disney employees got their jobs 86. Disney equals 86. A bunch of migrants burned up on the border in Ciudad Juarez, which equals 201. In a big Jesuit ritual synced with the superior general, the leader of the Jesuits. The name of the facility equaled 135, and they burned up 135 days after his birthday. Now, we just talked about this in the Moscow, Idaho killings, how the big clue was that the women called a man named Jack 10 times in the middle of the night, and the last Jack the Ripper killing was at the place called the 10 Bells, and the killings in Moscow were 4 days after the anniversary of Jack the Ripper's last killing, but also 134 years later. And again, the news broke on King Charles' birthday, and the killings were on King Road 134 years from the Jack the Ripper killings, where there's a book out there about how the Jack the Ripper killings trace back to the royal family. But anyway, notice from Charles' birthday, November 14th, his 74th birthday, to this death 134 days later. King Charles III, 134. Exactly what we talked about with the Moscow King Road killings. The exact same numbers. 134, 74. Again, this latest killing of the drag queen comes on the date with 74 numerology. London, killing, Gematria. Look up the song Gematria, the killing name. Look up the song Murder by Numbers by the Police, the British band, about Gematria, were killings as simple as ABC as 1, 2, 3. This is the ABC 1, 2, 3 cipher. London, killing, Gematria, English, Jewish, Masonic, occult. Again, this knowledge comes from Jewish mysticism, Kabbalah. Notice also in the same cipher, Jesus, cross, holiday, Messiah, parables, gospel, they're all 74. The story is, after the Crusades, the Knights Templar who served the Catholic Church, they brought back the knowledge. Thus the Cabal was created in Europe. The Jesuits, the current military order of the Catholic Church, have the Templar cross in the middle of their logo. The Jesuit order is the Society of Jesus. They're the same thing. Society of Jesus equals royal family equals 56. That's why the king's coronation's on 5/6. That's why the last king died on, or at age 56, on the most perfect day, on February 6th, where queen can be written 2/6 and 6/2. That's why the queen became the queen on February 6th, and her coronation was on June 2nd, another 2/6/6/2 date. But also, just for the record, the man who's dead, his birthday was 14/6, United Kingdom 146. Notice how Jesus Christ is 146 and 74 as well. Again, truly all these rituals trace back to the Holy Bible, 201. If you write out the Catholic Church, it equals 87. He's dead on the 87th day of the year. I did mention how the Queen died 86 days after his birthday. That does also mean that the Queen died on the 87th day of his age. And then he dies on the 87th day of the year. The Catholic Church, 87. So just to remind people also of what happened in Moscow and at the University of Virginia, where the news broke on King Charles' birthday. Again, the killings at the University of Idaho on King Road were in Moscow, Idaho, which is spelled the same as Moscow. And King Charles, again, is the first monarch of Russian ancestry. And keep in mind, it's going on during the time of Russia-Ukraine, which is another massive 201 ritual, as we've covered 1,000 times. As we predicted the date it would happen before it even happened, from the knowledge. As we predicted a million things correctly. But by the way, with regards to the Queen, I thought she'd die at age 96 on May 20th, because it was the 140th day of the year and Queen of England equals 140. Instead, she died 140 days after her birthday at age 96 on the Virgin Mary's birthday, which actually made a lot more sense, 201 days after her COVID diagnosis. But again, I knew that 140 would be in there for Queen of England. Anyway, notice how London and Moscow, the same numbers, just forwards and backwards. Forwards, London 7429. In reverse, Moscow 7429. London in reverse, 8825. Moscow 8825. I just want you to see the word poison. Again, a lot of people are poisoned to death. That's the Jesuits' favorite way of killing. And poison does have that gematria 74, in light of the drag queen being dead on the 74 date numerology and his husband saying he died unexpectedly but peacefully. Jack, also, since Jack was calling so many times in the middle of the night, Jack's got that gematria 25 and 29, like London and Moscow, also 83 like murder. And the killings came 41 days after the anniversary date of the school's opening on King Road, just like how this man's dead 41 weeks after his birthday, on the nose. Cavaliers are those who fought for King Charles in history. Again, on the same day as the Moscow killings, the news broke of the Virginia Cavaliers killings on the exact same day. Again, just talking about the same things. Killing, holiday, English, energy, gematria, Masonic, occult, London. The Cavaliers killings were in Chesapeake. Chesapeake, 74. Same numbers. And again, Jack has that gematria of 83 like murder. The song Murder by Numbers by the Police came out in 1983. The vigil for the students, November 30th, 2022, was a date with 83 numerology. From the last Jack the Ripper killing to the killings of the students 134 years later. Now the drag queen's dead 134 days after King Charles III's birthday. And then the Nicola Bulley thing, again, it was presented as this big mysterious coincidence because it had happened 45 years earlier to the day. You know, I should have mentioned how the word bridge equals 45. What what's her name? Liz Truss. Liz Truss was in office for 45 days. A truss is used in the construction of a bridge oftentimes. The name of the operation for the day the Queen died was Operation London Bridge. Liz Truss took office the day before the Queen died, only to be in office for 45 days. The word bridge, 45. Let's not forget how we predicted a bridge would probably be coming down 45 days from Steph Curry's three-point record because he wears the bridge on his uniform. And then 45 days later, the bridge came down the day Biden was in Pittsburgh. And that was even predictive programming for the Queen. You have to go back and watch it. That was January 28th, 2022. Anyway, one year or a day shy of a year later, this woman disappears on a bridge, which does equal 45, like ritual and missing. And here's the real thing, though. The boy who disappeared all those years earlier, Roger, similar name to Nicola and River, disappeared along the river. But here was the thing. From Charles' 74th birthday to the disappearance was 74 days, and the town where this happened is St. Michael's. Sounds pretty Catholic. St. Michael's on Wire, or maybe Weary, or however you pronounce it. But anyhow, the point is, the gematria of the town 74 days after his 74th birthday. And if you're new here, again, 3 of the first 5 U.S. presidents died on 7/4. 3 of the first 5. The word Catholic's 35. Like JFK, the first Catholic president, number 35. If you run it in verse, Catholic 46, like JFK killed at age 46. Like Joe Biden elected number 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday, after he sacrificed his son Beau Biden at 46, 201 days before the Pope's birthday, only to have the Jesuit priest whose name equaled 201, Leo Jeremiah O'Donovan, do the funeral for Beau Biden at 46 and the inauguration of Joe Biden as number 46 on 20/1, the 201st day of the nation's age, when you measure from July 4th. Again, holiday and Independence Day equals 74, but think about that. 3 of the first 5 U.S. presidents dead on 7/4. And, sadly, we predicted things like why Muhammad Ali would die at age 74, which he did. Muhammad equals 74. And he also died on June 3rd, like the Prophet Muhammad died at age 63, and he died in 2016, which is the 63rd triangular number. But again, there's been 1,074 deaths that I've covered in the decade I've been here. And, for more familiar patterns, we pointed out how Nicola Bulley equals 67, like king, like water, like blood sacrifice, like human sacrifice. Now we have, this man dead unexpectedly at 67. The numbers if you're new here, the numbers I talk about the most with death and killing, 38, 67, 74, 86. There are other ones, 46 like sacrifice. But I'm just talking about these numbers over and over and over and over. Weekly. Some weeks a bunch of times in a week. But for a decade straight, been here every day showing the same thing. This was also synced up with the Pope's 86th birthday. Let's not forget the Pope's 86. Let's not forget his favorite Argentina. Won the World Cup after winning it in 86, the day after his 86th birthday, something we also predicted and pointed out it'd make a lot of sense if they beat France for Pope Francis, where the Jesuits are from France. France fell to 2-2 in World Cups and 22 in the 22nd World Cup. What's the guy for the UK who kicked the ball over the post? The great scorer, couldn't put it in the net, booted it over. Harry or something. Anyway, it's all rigged, you guys. Game's all rigged by the numbers. So. Oh, there it is. On the bridge. Liz Truss, 45 days in office. A bridge, a truss. Imagine if we had a world where the media was really about getting to the bottom of things, if investigative journalism was really rewarded, if great minds were really rewarded. Imagine how far this work would be after doing this for a decade. Instead, we live in a world where the truth is suppressed, and that's why the channel's been deleted 20-some times and is totally shadow banned. And it's not just that, too. It's the fact that people are mind-controlled and they don't really care about knowledge or information. They care about entertainment. Just like I keep saying, I'm so annoyed about the channel who routinely takes a shot at my work and says how dumb and worthless it is. He always tells people, we don't need to know about gematria. All we need to do is be connected to Jesus Christ And then meanwhile, you listen to him, he's like a total hate speaker, like hates like nearly every group of people. You know, he came up with some audio clip that Owen Benjamin was talking about how his father sucked another man's cock, and they're in the Hollywood industry, and I think a lot of that goes on in Hollywood. But again, just for playing that clip, you guys, it was just annoying to watch. This guy that works against the truth, tries to keep people in the authoritative traps, like the Bible, like religion. You know, oh my God, thanks for finding that clip of Owen Benjamin talking about his dad's cock getting sucked. Boom, $1,000 flown in super chats in less than 10 minutes. And it's just like, man, every video I put out has the power to change the world, and then I'll be lucky if there's like $2, $4, $5 raised on a live stream. And it's not about that, but the point is, if we could get $1,000 to flow in 10 minutes, you know, again, we'd have the kind of resources to get this work out there and fight the suppression. Again, the whole world should know about this. The entire English-speaking world should know about this knowledge and what's really going on. And again, it's just annoying. I got 24/7, 365 troll pack that harasses from every angle they can. God knows how many resources are being spent by the people I'm exposing to harass me 24/7. I wish we had the resources to get the word out, because we'd be making a lot bigger difference. So anyway, thank you to everyone who does support the work. A great way to support is to sign up for the Patreon. And you guys, starting next month, you get a lot more than just the sports information every day at a rock bottom price of $5 a month. You're also going to get all the financial information, and we've clearly caught on to something with XRP. What I say about XRP and Tuesdays, it seems to take off on Tuesdays. Had another stellar Tuesday. It's having another stellar day today. And it's not just that, you know. I'm not a real big crypto guy, but again, from crypto to the stock market, it's all manipulated the same way. So you want all the knowledge for how the markets are manipulated by the same code? Join the Patreon. Take advantage of the rig sports games. Take advantage of the rig market. Learn more about this code and how universal it is. I've never come across any knowledge that can help you take advantage of all these things and see through what's really going on in the world. It's because we figured out the Illuminati code, if you will. So we'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. Again, thank you to all the people who support the work. Shout out to Divine Lion, always generous. And we generated $4.99 for the stream. All right, you guys, got to get back to work. Always on the grind over here. And thank you to the people who do support the Patreon. Sports information be coming out soon. Take care, all.